would like to start by introducing our host and guest. We have the honor of having with us today Commander, 81st Training Group, Colonel Scott E. Solomon. Commander, 335th Training Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Elizabeth A. Aptekar. Instructor, PMEL Apprentice Course, 335th Training Squadron, Technical Sergeant Richard Miller. We would also like to welcome Master Sergeant Frederick Deming and Mr. Tommy Teague, guest of Airman First Class Rust. The Basic Precision Measurement Equipment Laboratory, PMEL course, is one of the most challenging technical courses in the military, which I am sure these students will attest to. By completing this course, they have achieved a major accomplishment which has consisted of 33 days of electronic principles, 87 days of PMEL training, a grand total of 120 academic days, over 963 training hours, culminating in earning 42 credit hours in the Community College of the Air Force. The lessons learned here will stay with them throughout their careers. Today, they will receive not only a graduation certificate, but also an Air Force Maintenance Badge. Class, wear this badge with honor. You have earned it through your hard work and dedication over the last several months. Now, in keeping with tradition, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker, Technical Sergeant Miller. Sergeant Miller, the floor is yours.
Good job, class. Congratulations. Well, first off, I would like to thank Colonel Solomon. Sir, thank you for being here today. It really is an honor to have you here. Now, some of you may not know that Colonel Solomon started off his career in PMEL, correct, sir?
That's right.
So you would know that from your start and throughout your career that throughout the maintenance community, PMEL is sort of known as the smart ones. And yeah, sometimes. I do have to say though that this class actually does fit into that typical PMEL persona, and they are actually very intelligent. And now this class, they didn't start off this course together. You know, they might have lost one or two along the way, gained a few along the way, but as fate would have it, the way you guys came together as a team is just that. It's fate. You guys became a very well-rounded team together. And within that team, everyone has their own role to play. Say like Airman Bean. Airman Bean was always sort of the go-to guy for right answers. He always seemed to have the right answer. Didn't talk a whole lot, but when he did, it was always something very intelligent. Right? You had Airman Castle, who was sort of like the alpha of the group. No, he was not the class leader, but a leader in a sense, where people would be able to come to him for any advice or any help, and he used his charisma and his knowledge to actually help people along the way to get the task done. You have Airman Garcia, who also knew most of the right answers, but I wouldn't say he was exactly the go-to guy, since he was smart enough not only to know the right answers, but also to know the worst wrong answers to give. So maybe, yeah, exactly. Not a whole lot of help there, but he did help people along the way when it counted. Airman Nichols was sort of the bro of the, nope, sorry, mispronounced it, that's brony. For those of you that don't know what a brony is, it is an adult male who is obsessed with My Little Pony. He has tattoos to prove it. Now, I'm not going to say whether or not that was the most intelligent thing to do, but I will say you've done a lot of great work, and actually you used your very cool, calm, and confident persona not only to be the first one to volunteer to get a task done, but you usually were the first one done. So. Then you have Airman Perkins. Airman Perkins, he's the very detail-oriented person within this team, making sure that not only did he and everyone understand every detail, but if there was any detail along the way that he didn't understand, he would actually challenge it and raise a lot of very insightful questions. And I actually thank you for that, because you help everyone see every aspect of every part of the lesson. Now, with that, he didn't only show his intelligence within his Air Force career so far. He showed it beforehand in the civilian world when he was even able to earn a scholarship for his Pokemon skills. I don't know how well your Poke skills are going to help you with calibration, but it does help you fit into the PMEL nerd category. You have Aaron Jeffries. Aaron Jeffries was one of our more insightful ones. He may not have known all the right answers, but he never stopped striving to learn. And that's what we want to see from all of our students. You know, if you don't know the right answer, seek out the right answer. Seek any advice that you can. Right? Now, I will say he too has his own areas of expertise, like how you can solve a Rubik's Cube in 30 seconds. That's got to count for something, right? And Komalafe, he was another one, always striving to learn. Right? You were always asking questions. He was also the quiet one, the quietest one of this team. And one thing I've learned is you do have to watch out for the quiet ones, because a lot of times they will focus and not let anything else distract them around them, and they will just focus on the task and end up excelling in their career. And that's really what we want to see from you. Finally, last but not least, we have Amron Rusk, who, if anyone here has ever talked to Amron Rusk, you know he has the most amazing stories. Sometimes on the same topic. Not always. But along the way, because of different stories that you would tell and some pretty obscure questions, wasn't sure how you would do with performing the task. And then you would actually do the task, and you were actually more insightful with some of those tasks than even some 5 levels that I've seen. You've caught on to little key details that usually take airmen maybe another year or two to really figure out with the task. So in that sense, you're already ahead of the game. So as smart as you airmen have proven to be so far, do remember you are at the beginning. You are still technically novices in this career field and not quite at that professional level yet. So just keep in mind what Technical Sergeant Farrington said a couple weeks ago, that you do have to learn how to follow before you can lead. That you should never stop learning, because that's one thing that any instructor in here will tell you, that we, even at our level, we're always learning. So you're never going to stop doing that. Don't be afraid to show others what you've learned along the way. One day you are going to become trainers. So use that experience, use that knowledge that you've gained, and help someone else along the way. I challenge you to continue to think outside the box and challenge any status quo. You know, look for new and innovative ways to get things done. We know what you guys can be, and we want to see you grow into those Air Force professionals that we expect you to be. So congratulations, class. You did it. And that's all I have to say about that.
Colonel Sullivan, you can now please come forward to hand out our certificates. Class 161003, stand to be recognized. On his way to Kadena Air Base, Japan, Airman First Class Matthew Bean. Travis, Air Force Base, California, Airman Mackenzie Castle. Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, Arizona, Airman First Class Jesus Garcia, Jr. Kunsan Air Base, Republic of Korea, Airman First Class Cameron Nichols.
Sir, you hear that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Aviano Air Base, Italy, Airman First Class Jesse Perkins. Masao Air Base, Japan, Airman First Class Jordan Jeffries. Ramstein Air Base, Germany, Airman First Class Michael Komolapi. Mountain Home Air Force Base, Idaho, Airman First Class Drake Russ. In recognition of outstanding academic achievement, we would like to announce our distinguished graduate. With a 96% overall average, your distinguished graduate for Class 161003 is Airman Jesus Raul Garcia.
Excellent.
Thanks, sir, unless you want to speak.
Okay, hey, well, thanks for all showing up here today. This is a monumental event in your lives right now. So you guys have been in, how long's the tech school now? 6 months? 7 months almost? A little slow? Okay, I got it. 7 months. Plus BMT, so you've been in the Air Force 8 to 9 months roughly, something like that. You know, hearing your stories, that's kind of a motley group you got here. That's a compliment though, but because everybody has a story in the Air Force. And as you go across the Air Force and make friends, go to your new bases, every single base that you guys just talked about I've been to. And they've all got great pluses at those bases. In fact, we've never been to a base that we didn't like, because every base has a lot to give. I will tell you, 29 years ago is when I was going through tech school, just like you guys are, for PMEL. And when I went through, it was almost 9 months long. And it's amazing the close-knit group of folks that I went to school with. There's still 4 of us that keep in contact with each other. And this was back in the dark ages, before the internet and cell phones and all that. But we still managed to keep in contact. It's come a long way. I will tell you, when, for those that have worked PMEL before, kind of the ROE was you get to your first base, and then they assign you a section. And then you go work in that section, you get your CDCs out and your 623, and you would sign off on all your tasks, and then you were qualified to do something. And at least at the lab that I was at, it had really odd hours. So we'd start at 6 in the morning and get off at 9, I think, or 6 in the morning and you get off at 3 or 4 or whatever it was. But here was the routine. You would go in and you would work for a certain amount of time, and then you'd have a 15-minute break. 15-minute break, and we would play 4 rounds of spades in 15 minutes. We got really good at that. And then you would have lunch, and then you might have gym time in there, you know, so when we're playing competitive sports. And then you'd have an afternoon break. 4 rounds of spades again. There'd be like 6 tables in the break room. This is back when you could smoke in the break room. See, really dark ages. But a lot of the equipment we had, you're still going to use today, because it's good stuff. I mean, Phys D doesn't change a whole lot, right? Physical dimensional stuff. But you're gonna see a lot of stuff when you go into PMEL depending on what kind of lab you go into. Some of you will be bunny pickers, right? Remember that term, bunny pickers?
Absolutely.
Have you guys, you know what the bunny pickers are? These are the guys that work in K6, right? It's K6. They still call it K6?
So far as the smoking.
Okay. So the bunny pickers will be these guys that grab like 30 micrometers, and they go into the K6 room and they calibrate 30 micrometers, and they say, wow, look at my big numbers. And then you got other folks that just get the biggest, baddest, ugliest looking test set that you could imagine, and they like the broke ones. And then it takes you 2 days to set up for the test. It takes you probably another 2-3 days of troubleshooting, and you finally fix it. And so now you've worked 2 weeks on this project. Those are the kind of ones I liked. I really liked. I really dug those ones. Who's got the tattoo, Pony Pal? So if you're lucky enough to be at a lab with a laser, maybe you can laser that thing off. But I guarantee you know, the Air Force is what you make it. And the one thing that I would caution anybody in here about is don't get stovepiped. Because working in a lab, you can really get stovepiped on the mission, your mission. And what I mean by that is just turning equipment. Whether you're a bunny picker or whether you're taking the hard stuff on, get outside the base. Understand what the mission does. And you will see when you step outside of the 4 walls of whatever lab you happen to be working in, there's a whole big Air Force out there doing a lot of other cool stuff that you're really not going to get to see sometimes unless you get out and see what's going on. So that would be my caution to you. Get out and look and see what's going on the base. Understand what the mission is. Understand what they contribute to the Air Force. Understand what they contribute to the DoD. Understand what we're doing to provide capability so we can defeat ISIS and all the other bad actors that we have out there. If you can do that and start connecting those dots, your Air Force experience, I guarantee, is going to be a lot richer. The second thing I would tell you is learn as much as you can. Because some of you are probably going to come in 4 years and get out. Some might stay in 20, some might 30. Try to make chief, right, in your career field. There is plenty of opportunity out there for you. So I envy where you guys are at now. I've had a blast my entire career. I did PMEL, active PMEL for almost 5 years and had a blast. And the skills that you learn, that you've learned and that you're going to learn in the future will pay huge dividends in your life as you go through your life and in the Air Force. So congratulations to you guys.
Thank you, Colonel Solomon. These airmen will depart to become part of the operational Air Force. They have been empowered to aim high,
fly, fight, win.
with the discipline they acquired in basic training, the knowledge they gained in the PMEL course, and a strong belief in our core values. They will succeed. To close our ceremony, it has become a tradition that we reflect on our mission and our commitment by reciting the Airman's Creed. Class, please come forward and lead us in the Airman's Creed to commemorate your accomplishments and recognize the journey ahead.